All right, Steve, what have you got for me today? Come on. Why slow is better in language learning? Well, let's see if we agree or disagree.
Today I want to talk about learning slowly, or rather, why, if you accept the fact that learning a language is a process that takes time,
Okay.
if you learn slowly, in effect, you will learn more quickly.
Fine.
I was reminded the other day of a internet influencer by the name of Tim Ferriss, who commented some years ago that he could deconstruct any language with 10 or 12 sentences, and that he could achieve fluency in record time by using this method.
Yeah, of course it's nonsense.
And of course that's not true.
Thank you.
In fact, I have made a few videos where I present the counter argument to his suggestion that you can learn any language quickly by mastering, 10 sentences. The gist of his argument is that if you understand how pronouns and direct objects and indirect objects work, then you've got the sense of the language and you'll learn it very quickly. In fact, even with very similar languages like Spanish and Portuguese, where all of those pronouns and genders, they're all essentially the same, or French for that matter. In fact, it takes a long time to get used to the other language.
Yes.
Same with Mandarin and Cantonese. Lots of Mandarin speakers cannot speak Cantonese, even though they claim to understand it. The similarity of the structure of languages, even the similarity of the vocabulary, doesn't mean that you can pick it up in a short period of time. In fact, it takes quite a while, which is a good thing, and I'll explain why it's a good thing. Now, I have in the past never made claims that I can learn a language in 3 months or 6 months or whatever.
That is great, in fact. And with all the disagreements that I've had with this man over the years, and with all the times that he has made me cringe profusely, I will have to say I do respect him for this. I do respect him for this.
Asked to estimate how long it takes to learn a language, and of course it depends on a lot of different factors, but I don't make these claims. I did make a claim, and I have on several occasions made the claim, that on Link I can learn 100 words a day, but this was for specific languages. So if I, for example, having learned Russian, where 50% or 60% of the vocabulary is similar to Czech, then I can very quickly ramp up known words on Link, because a lot of the words that show up, I don't need to look them up.
Right, so you basically already have it would be like me saying, hey guys, I can learn 100 words in Spanish. Of course, I'm a native Italian speaker. All those words, I just need to look at them once. Fine, because otherwise, I've debunked videos that are like 10,000 words a day. Yep. Oh my gosh, I swear people are unbelievable. When they make those videos, by the way, it's not about language learning, it's about their fragility.
And therefore they very quickly add up in my known words total if I keep reading, but I have to keep reading a lot. In some languages where there is a lot of inflection, like Turkish, and particularly if I set myself the goal of learning a lot of words, again, I can crank up my known words total quite quickly. It doesn't mean that I'm fluent in the language. It's a good base from which to start, but you still need to take the time to learn the language and hopefully to enjoy the language. And this gets me to this next point, that there's something about slow.
Interestingly enough, if you enjoy the language, then you learn it more quickly. That is one thing that we should say. If you're having fun in the process and it doesn't feel like a chore, then you will pick it up more quickly comparatively than you would have if you find it boring.
We live in an age where everything has to be quick. About 20 years ago or so, a person named Carl Honoré wrote a book, I think called In Praise of Slow, where he presented the other argument, all of the advantages of doing things slowly, of enjoying life, of staying in the moment. And apparently he was inspired by a certain Italian, Carlo Petrini, who wrote a book about slow food in opposition to the fast food, the McDonald's. And the idea is the same, that if you are taking the time to eat slowly with friends in a pleasant social environment, convivial environment, you're enjoying the food, that actual act of eating is an enjoyable activity. And why should we be in a hurry to simply feed ourselves? And that is the way I approach language learning.
That's nice. That's nice. I guess so. The way I should deconstruct this is that he's not saying, guys, don't worry about it, take 10 years, who cares? Obviously, that's not what he means. He's just saying, don't do the super quick, but then you forget half of it because, hey, you had your quota, you had your freaking 1,000 words a week quota, and so you forget 780 of those by next month because you didn't actually slow down, do smaller number, don't become a sloth, do make progress daily. I don't even want to hear it. Daily. I don't care. On Monday I've got a whole day dedicated. No. Daily or no fluency. That's how it works. I don't make the rules.
I enjoy the language. And my fondest memories in learning languages are, for example, in the case of Czech, listening to this wonderful series on Český rozhlas, Tolky Českou minulosti, about the history of Czechia, as we call it today, which was part of different empires at different times in its history. It's a wonderful series, audio and text. Or for that matter, I listen to audiobooks on Polish history, Ukrainian history, and Russian history.
You know, not that I can prove it because I don't have evidence for what I'm about to claim, but I think he does too much listening. Oftentimes in my videos, I've mentioned that I suggest a 60-40, 60% output or production, 40% input or listening. I think there is a reason for it. I might make an actual dedicated video, and definitely there is going to be a section entirely dedicated to this in my book. But still, yeah.
In those 3 different languages, I can assure you the text and the gist was quite different depending on which language version I was listening to. But that's part of the enjoyment of learning a language. You can participate in those cultures through the language. I don't need to be in a hurry. It's our interest in the subject, our desire to eat slowly, to savor every morsel that gets us to where we want to be, which is a solid understanding of the language. Now, of course, you can nudge yourself, as I've said before, by controlling the things that you can control. We can't really control how quickly we're going to learn the language. This is going to vary depending on a number of circumstances. However,
I disagree with that. You can control how quickly you're going to learn a language if you do things correctly, but I am being pedantic. Just to be sure, though, you can control it. You absolutely can. You can control the speed at which you reach fluency or acquire language by, for instance, doing the things that work the best. It's just that what you can't control is that sometimes you just can't force an amount of learning within any given space of time if it's impossible, like physically. It's just because someone else said in 3 weeks I've learned a lot. No, they didn't. It's a lie. And so you see, and what I'm about to say, I'm gonna say, give me this one. All I talk about is languages on this channel. But do let me say this. If you want to skip it, skip it. But this it connects also to faith, in the Christian sense or any sense. Faith needs to be based on a true principle. You can have all the faith in the world, but if what you believe is wrong, it won't matter. And this, as I say, as a Christian man, my faith needs to be based on something true. Otherwise, I can have all the faith in the world. It's not going to do anything. Likewise, closed the religious parenthesis. But likewise, in language learning, you can have if you believe in yourself and your faith is towards something real, doable, tangible, you will succeed. And that believing in yourself will give you the motivation, the power, the mental state, and it will make it happen. Conversely, if you have faith, I have incredible faith that I can learn Mandarin in a month, it doesn't matter. Your faith is misplaced and it will not do anything. In fact, if anything, it might discourage you, and then because you set the wrong standards, the wrong goals, and then you think, you're discouraged. So it's counterproductive.
We can control how active we are. Most of our statistics at Link, including the coins, measure your level of activity. We can control our level of activity, and that's what's going to get us to our goal faster. In other words, rather than fretting about how quickly can I learn this language, focusing on how much time am I willing to spend learning the language, listening, reading, speaking. By the way, YouTube is now offering an ability to follow a course of study and have your progress tracked, and you can earn rewards at the end of this process. And so I have now made my approach to language learning available as a 10-video course where I talk about listening and reading and acquiring vocabulary and all the different things that affect our success in language learning. I cover them in these 10 specially selected videos, and I'm going to leave a link in the description box so that you can go there, and then you may find doing this course at YouTube quite enjoyable and hopefully beneficial. And it really doesn't matter what level you are in the language, a beginner or an intermediate or advanced. I think you'll find this an interesting experience. So the reason why I'm very much in favor of this slow approach to learning and to learning languages is that we are bombarded by so much information today, and this is well documented, that we are less and less capable of focusing and concentrating. I can remember when I was learning Chinese, or even when I was learning French, I had no trouble reading a book. There were fewer distractions. I would totally immerse myself in what I was reading. Nowadays, it's more difficult. And apparently, every time we're distracted by email or Twitter or something, even when we come back to what we were supposed to be focused on, there is this sort of lingering attachment to the thing that we went to look for.
Matt, imagine if you could take away and regain all of the time you wasted, me included, doom scrolling. Bro, you'd be fluent in another language most likely.
So it's more difficult to focus. And I think if we can train ourselves to take our time, not be impatient, not put pressure on ourselves, in the end, we will enjoy the language more, and we will get to our goal of fluency faster. There are no shortcuts. You can't just learn enough to be able to order food in a restaurant. That's not a meaningful level in a language. You have to acquire the whole language through an enjoyable and slow engagement with the language. So in that sense, when people ask me, or even in my own case, I spend a lot of time now with Persian and Arabic. If I ask myself, when will I get there? When will I get to the end of the journey? The answer is, you're there now. The journey is the reward. Enjoy learning.
I like that. I like that.
Enjoy learning slowly, and before you know it, you will be at the level you want to be in the language you're learning.
Splendid. Thank you so much for the video. I liked it. I liked it, this one. Very good video. Thank you very much to Steve. And of course, you find a link in the description to all of you for watching and joining Metatron's Academy. If you appreciate my content so far and wish to help ensure my ability to continue to tell it how it is, regardless of any possible backlash, please support this channel on Patreon. Any support helps me and my team of academics keep the channel strong and gives us the means to fight back against the political rewriting of history. Stand with us, form the wall, defend the truth.